Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video. Now in this one we are going to continue to explore the lore for Season 3, at least as far as we know. I know it's still early, I know it's only the second day of the season, but it's never too early to start talking about what could be, especially when you're me and you try and analyze every single bit of the storyline as early as possible. Guys, in case you didn't know or just aren't following, I stream on caffeine.tv 4 times a week. And since the season is brand new, I'm giving out battle passes over there, so if you need the battle pass, that's a great chance for you to go and earn it for yourself for free. The link to follow me is in the description. So inside of the game's coding, there is an encrypted POI named the Ruins_Falls. After being able to remove the water level, this place pops out. I searched around the island and this is the only place I could think of where it could be located eventually. This is courtesy of Fort Tory over on Twitter. He also adds, what if falls stands for waterfalls, which of course would make sense considering we are in a water-themed season, and as the water goes down, it would make sense for water to trickle over the sides of this area. If you remember, there were leaks before the season that as the water level goes down, there would be new POIs that would pop up and be changed around the map, so this wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, and we probably also have a couple other areas that will come about as well. This comes to you from Fire Monkey on Twitter, and they say potential Season 3 extension. The season is set to end on August 26th. However, we have 12 weeks worth of challenges, and week 12 is on September 3rd, which is a week after Season 3 is supposed to end. If that end date, August 26th, holds true, that would be the shortest season we've had by far in Chapter 2 up to this point. In fact, that would be only 69 days away from right now, when the rest of the seasons have been somewhere in the range of 120 days, which would be a welcome sight. You know, obviously I would like for the seasons to have a good amount of content, have good time, but not overly long, and we definitely do not want any crazy extensions. Definitely not 3+ times like we had with Chapter 2 Season 2. But then again, that kind of seems to be the norm for this chapter so far. I know it's a small sample size with only 2 seasons under our belt, and I wouldn't really worry about this too much because it's not going to do anybody any good to worry about the season getting extended or delayed when we legitimately just started the season. But I do think it's an interesting bit of info to point out how the weekly challenges don't line up with the alleged end date for this season. So I know this seems a little random and out of the blue, but the skin I'm using right now is Kit. It's a very, very small cat that looked a lot like Meowscles, and I've seen a lot of people say that Kit is legitimately a younger version of Meowscles. This is just not true. This is in fact Meowscles' son that is confirmed by looking at the description of the skin, which says proudly following in his father's paw prints. So this is not young Meowscles. This is an entirely different cat. This is Meowscles' son. I do think that's important to understand because we don't yet know any sort of significance Kit has with the storyline, but he does have his own mythic weapon, and typically I would say that's probably going to mean something. He's going to have some relation, some tie-in to the storyline. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. Now, if Meowscles is Kit's dad, then people are also wondering who the mom is, and that's a decent question. We may have an answer. So if you know, Meowscles has a tattoo that says Lynx with a heart around it, so I don't know if Lynx and Meowscles are legitimately dating or if, you know, they would have a kid together. But it's also worth pointing out that Lynx may have genuinely created Meowscles in a lab, because if you go back to this loading screen from Season 7, you see Lynx working, and then you also see a computer monitor with a picture of Meowscles, teasing the Meowscles skin all the way back in Season 7. But with this information, you might infer that, okay, well, if Meowscles was made in a lab or, you know, made artificially in some way, I don't know how that would be, but if that were the case, then maybe Kit was the same way. Or if Lynx and Meowscles are together, then they may have genuinely made this cat as their child. It's also worth pointing out that while Lynx is a human, she does have a cat-like suit that she wears. Kit was also used by Fortnite in a teaser before the season came out to tease the upcoming Battle Pass skins. So just based on that fact alone as well, it makes me believe that Kit may have a significant role to play in this storyline, as may Meowscles himself, so really excited to find out all those secrets and uncover everything. Here is a Reddit post from user Clockworks who says, what if Oro is Midas after he survived the shark attack? We know they're connected somehow and have similarities like the eye scar. Also, Oro's set is named Midas Revenge. So if you watch the cutscene to open Season 3, you'll see that it started with Midas out on a raft, and then of course he got eaten by a shark. Of course, very interesting. Now, I can definitely see the argument, and I'll share a little bit of both sides of that argument. Sharing the argument for that, and again, Fortnite logic is not real world logic, so, you gotta throw that out the window. But if Midas is in fact not dead and does come back, it would make sense for him to come back in a way where all his skin is gone, maybe the shark devoured all of his flesh, and it would make sense for there to be blood on his shirt like Oro has. All that kind of stuff does kind of line up. Now, arguments against: Oro was a skin before this whole cutscene in Season 3 came to be, so I don't really know how I feel about this theory, but it definitely is an interesting one, and one that I could see playing out either way. It is also unbelievably interesting and intriguing that the item set for the Oro skin is actually called the Midas Revenge. Now, when you think of revenge, you think, okay, something has to happen first to make someone angry to make them want to get revenge. Now, you might say the Doomsday device and the Doomsday event was Midas's revenge, and it could have been, but it also might not have been. If you think about it logically, Midas had absolutely no reason, really, at least as far as we know, to want to defy the storm. Maybe he just knew what was going on, made his device, and just saw what happened. His revenge could very well be now that he's failed with his device, because let's be honest, it did fail, because Jonesy said he never expected this to turn out this way. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on in the event where you knew Midas was failing with his event overall. So maybe after that failed event, Midas comes back as Oro and makes a brand new device and does something else for this season. On the same Reddit post in the comments, user RNFaded says, everyone is thinking about Midas getting eaten as a way for new lore, but I think it was just for laughs. Peely was eaten in the Season 9 trailer, but he ended up coming back 3 seasons later. Clockworks responds and says, that is a great point, I agree a ton, though I find it weird how they used Midas, a character heavily lore related, for a joke. I was kind of wondering the same thing, because back in the Season 9 trailer, Jonesy and Peely went into the bunker together, and when they came out, it was only Jonesy, because he literally had eaten Peely, and if you eat something, you would assume that thing you ate has died. So yeah, in a way, Peely died, but then he came back a few seasons later, which was definitely very interesting. So it's hard to gauge exactly what's going on in terms of deaths in cutscenes. But it is interesting how they used Midas, a character heavily lore related, especially recently. This thing came out 2 days after Midas just launched his device, and Fortnite broke all sorts of in-game records for viewership. One more thing I want to point out about that whole Peely dying situation. Here's a loading screen from Season 8, in fact Week 4 to be specific. And in this picture, it is proven that there are multiple different Peelys, not just one Peely. So it's possible that the Peely Jonesy ate in the bunker was a completely different Peely from the one that came back in terms of Agent Peely and all that sort of stuff. So this is kind of just a brain teaser. It makes me wonder whether or not Midas is truly dead in that cutscene. It makes me wonder whether or not he's going to come back as Oro or what's going on there, because a lot of people on Reddit and in my comment section are raving about this Midas Death, and it is interesting. It could have been a joke, but it could have also been very much intentional, considering how very calculated Epic Games is with all the stuff, or at least most of the stuff they put out into the game, and they would not do stuff for the most part unintentionally. One more thing I want to point out about this potential Midas Death. You'll see he's on the raft, then a shark starts swimming up to him, he tries to get away, and then moments after he allegedly gets killed by this shark, Meowscles, who of course was his friend in the agency, they were part of the agency together, is actually not fazed by it at all. He's smiling, he's happy, he's going about his normal skiing, so Meowscles, who of course was close to Midas, doesn't seem to be bothered by this whatsoever. It's really anyone's guess as to whether or not Midas is still alive, at least as far as the storyline goes. If you've got anything you want to add in the comment section on Twitter, by all means, please let me hear it. No theory is too big or too small. Also, I've got a question for you in the comments. On a scale of 1 to 10, and I know it's early, but on a scale of 1 to 10, if you had to guess right now, what would your rating for Season 3 be so far? And I would say a solid 8.5. The storyline is definitely much better than it was early in Chapter 2, which of course is a big part of the enjoyment, at least for me personally. I think it's interesting with the flooded map. I think it's going to be a dynamic map when the water level recedes over the course of the season and we get new POIs. I think it's just a really good season overall and definitely one of the better battle passes in my opinion. Make sure you follow me on Caffeine, use my support a creator code PineapplezYT, and make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and become a part of the Fruit Faction family today. I'll catch you in my next video. Have a great day, and until then, peace out.